little bit. Let's now talk about potholes. This seems to be, I was going to say, the favourite subject of many of you, but one that really irritates and indeed causes damage and cost to thousands and thousands of motorists on an annual basis. Delighted to say hello to Mark Morell. Mark, how are you?
Good morning. Well, very pleased to be on your show. See you many times on GB News and on with Mike. And now you're a county councillor in Essex that's a green awarded rated council that declared an emergency when you soon came in power and realised the shit that's there.
Well, yes, indeed. Yeah, I could have put it better myself. Look, first of all, when I say how are you, I mean, how are you? Seriously, because I think you've been a bit under
I'm
the
waiting
weather.
for a heart procedure.
A heart procedure?
Yeah. So
The stresses are talking about potholes for a living.
possibly, but I think I give more stress than I take, actually.
Good. All right,
Interesting,
so
you said about Calm. There's a £1.3 billion road maintenance backlog in TfL under his watch.
yeah, well, you'd
So
think that
the streets of
all of that
London are full of
money,
potholes.
you think that all of that money that he's collecting from the motorists would actually be spent on roads and the motorists, wouldn't you? How big a problem are potholes across Britain?
It's a national scandal, international scandal. I've done filming with French television and Spanish and even as far away as American Canada. I mean, we're an international laughing stock. To put it in context, there's a nearly £19 billion backlog in carriageway maintenance. So that's a bit curb to curb in England and Wales, and it's growing now. I'm a bit sad really, because back in the year 2000 there was a parliamentary paper that wanted about a 10-year plan to clear that backlog, which was £3.75 billion. And obviously Blair and Brown didn't choose to do it, and the roads minister that tried to do it obviously didn't succeed. Now we're at £19 billion, but that's just the carriageways. You've got the £6 billion backlog in bridge maintenance in the country. You've got footways, you've got bridges, you've got drainage, street lighting. So you're talking probably nearer £30 billion. And I've done a recent graphic showing the size of the task, also showing how much government waste, and another graphic I think I sent in showing how much road users actually pay, because we hear about 23-24 billion pound in fuel duty, but if you include the VAT on that, VAT on everything and sundry and insurances and repairs and car sales, company car tax, you're talking anything around 65 to 82 billion pounds a year. Yet government only give 1.6 billion pounds to councils to carry out the work, and you'll find that particularly in Essex.
Well, I know a bit about that, but obviously I am elected in Essex, and Essex has declared a pothole emergency for good reason, because of the state of the roads and the fact that they've been neglected significantly. But let's talk about why potholes get neglected. So these councils, whether it's Essex or Kent or Norfolk, Suffolk, wherever, they have huge budgets, partly funded by government, partly funded by the local taxpayer by way of the council tax, the precept effectively. So why is it that potholes seem to be more of a problem than ever, but why simply does the money not get allocated to fixing them rather than the problem becoming a bigger and bigger problem? So what's going wrong in local government?
Well, it's not only local government, central government. It's been, I mean, successes. I mean, I challenge councils, and to be fair, Reform have taken over a load of councils who've got a massive history of terms of backlog and neglect. We've cut back on resurfacing. I mean, potholes are only a sign of failure. When we have this thing, we've repaired so many thousand potholes, that's a sign of neglect. It ain't a sign of success. Now, if you use Surrey, for example, the last show I did with Mike and Kelvin asked how much Surrey was spending on the precept. They don't spend any of their precept. They rely on government money because of demands on social care and costs. I think we need a complete revolution, and it is decades of underinvestment from the 90s. And if you want to go really back on it, councils used to work under a thing called the Public Utility Street Works Act for utilities works, and they had to do all the repairs of reinstatements by utilities. Now, they used to charge in Westminster, for example, 3 times what I could get it done through by a contractor. So that used to go into their general fund. When they brought in the new Roads and Street Works Act in 1991, they lost an income stream. And ever since then, it's been declining money on an asset that's getting older. The average road surface lasts around 20 years. And if if you look at the alarm survey report, you'll be lucky to have your road resurfaced on current monies in 97 years. So it's a complete sign of failure.
97
And from a
years.
property shop, yeah, from a property point of view, you'll understand that if you've got a wooden window frame and you rub it down and paint it every 5 years, it will last forever. It'll outlast UPVC. If you neglect it, you then have to cut out parts of it, and eventually you have to replace the whole window. And that's what's happened with our road network. It doesn't take rocket science. In places like Holland, they resurface their roads every 12 years.
So they don't have potholes because they're resurfacing the roads. And tell us, I mean, I don't know if you have any horrifying data, Mark, around the amount of people that have damage caused to their cars. What does that look like in terms of the amount of cars damaged every year across the country, the value of that damage? Can you give us a sense?
Let's go much on the human side. It's reported that one cyclist a week is killed or seriously injured as a result of potholes. Over 70 bikers are killed or seriously injured each year as a result of badly maintained roads. So not only the pothole, the material, the screed and the debris, detritus that comes out of those potholes can cause them to lose control. Then we've got the ongoing cost that is costing the economy. It's estimated badly maintained roads are costing the economy as of 2024 £14.4 billion. So my argument is you need to invest to save. There is an appetite in the general public to do away with vehicle excise duty as it is and make it a roads tax. If you use that road tax purely ring fenced, which Treasury don't like the bean counters, into maintaining our roads, then I think you get a lot more understanding in it. And I think even road users might be willing to pay a little bit more because they're paying for it in other ways.
I was going to say, so some councils, when they issue their council tax demands at the beginning of every financial year, so around April, they often include an additional social care precept. So that's an amount of money that gets collected by everybody to pay specifically for elderly and vulnerable people in care. Do you think there's an argument then for a pothole emergency precept on people's council tax bills? Would you think they?
I don't think it should come on council tax. I think it should come out of the money that the government are pulling in. You'll see the graphic of how much money, that 65 to 82 billion pounds that road users are paying all forms of taxation. That should be squarely used, because at the end of the day, every road user wants good roads, and the amount of money going into central government should be allocated. Now, it's up to the bean counters to save the money. It's a case of it being a priority. It's always a priority to politicians at elections. And I did a poem just before the election saying the hypocrisy, because they all want to stand point at potholes. I mean, Rishi did it. I wouldn't have called it a pothole, what he was pointing at, but they're great. And then suddenly after the election, they can't do anything. The task is too difficult. I mean, Mr. Pothole's got no politics. I'll talk to any political party about if they genuinely want to do it. And I give advice and information to councillors from all parties. I think I tagged you in something this morning where a councillor in Wolverhampton was singing, waxing lyrical about a fantastically resurfaced road. It's great. But behind her, there's a manhole that hasn't been cut in and had a mastic around it. So I can guarantee you'll have a pothole there in a very short period of time, because they're not engineering for value.
Yeah. And Mark, presumably, Mark, sorry, but presumably you're in demand, right? So you must have councils queuing up left, right and centre to speak to you, to have you come in as a consultant, ringing your 0898 pothole emergency hotline, whatever it is. If that isn't a thing, Mark, it should be. I bet they're queuing up, and I know the answer to that question. They're not, are they?
I frighten the life out of them.
Right, well, because you'll expose their incompetence when it comes to the fact that potholes aren't being fixed.
Yes, and I get videos sent to me of extremely poor practice. I've had a video. The most graphic one was guys in a council up north where one guy's wearing sliders, no safety boots, and they're compacting the tarmac in a pothole with a gas canister.
Wow. What? And that's what, not on a private road, that's council contractors in sliders using, let's just say, inappropriate tools to fix a pothole. Yeah. Really?
Yeah,
exactly. Which council was that? Can you name and shame?
I can't remember at the moment, to be honest. I don't mind naming and shame, but I can't remember. I get so many. I mean, I'm thinking on my website.
As long as it wasn't Essex after May the 7th.
No.
I might have something to do with that then.
Yeah, I'm thinking on my website, the Pothole Truth, because I've done 13 years of campaign. I've tried their games in terms of petitioning, lobbying, and all your usual things. And now it's got to the stage where I thought the gloves are off. I've set up my website, and it's called the Pothole Truth because I'm going to highlight all of the things that I get sent and the intelligence. I've got a growing network inside the industry, inside councils of people that are giving me information. Others that have come out of it that are being more vocal because they're not exposed so much. So the Pothole Truth is growing in terms of input. I've got people doing articles for me. I've got the legal framework for using Highways Act Section 56 with templates so that you can hold your council to account in court to get your roads repaired. I intend to be the biggest pain in the backside till the next election. I'm going to produce over the coming months a complete blueprint and strategy for any political party to pick up and run with that will fix pothole Britain, providing they've got the balls to do so. We need a culture change. We need improved training. We need to use AI. It's not just about money. That's 75 to 80% of it in terms of funding on resurfacing programs. But there's a massive amount can be done. There's millions of pounds being wasted, probably hundreds of millions of pounds. Example, I got on a diversion because a road being shut last Monday and had to do 42 miles through parts of Hampshire purely at random. And they are an amber rated authority, and I would agree they're amber rated. However, in one of the villages on the junction, they were repairing a minor defect. There were 3 vehicles and 6 guys carrying out repair. One guy doing the work and the other standing around. Total inefficiency. And I get it from councillors saying, oh, yeah, but I only pay that price in the contract. But as you know, with contracts, you're paying it within the contract somewhere along the line. The current contractors don't give you freebies.
Yeah, well, look, Mark, well said. Thank you, that man. Big round of applause from the thousands of people watching this. When you have put that document together, I mean this, can you send it to me? Because I will send it to the cabinet member for Highways in Essex, Mark Webster, who's a great guy, and he's on it, but he's only 4 weeks in. But I think he would be he would value any possible help that he can get from an expert like yourself. Final word, Mark.
I want to say, if he wants any independent advice, I give independent. I work in complete sort of secrecy with a number of councillors because obviously they go in there, they're reliant on officers and what they're being told, and I've highlighted that. And some of them are able to tackle their officers with questions. One big thing: every highways authority in this country should be made mandatory to publish their total road maintenance backlog annually, what their budgets are, what the length of their network is, and what they're doing, what they're able to do and what they're not able to do. Because if you can highlight that, then people might understand what the situation is, and that might force central government to fund it. And I mean, if there's a change of government, which hopefully will be as soon as we can get an election as possible, then funding of that could be actually very interesting in terms of the way things could be done. Well,
Mark, I mean this. Stay close. Stay close. Now that we've connected, let's keep talking. Mark Morell there, Mr. Pothole himself. Thank you very much indeed. A very deep subject. See what I did.